Switch to the bank that loves small business. SMS Nedbank to 40320 to switch.
It's the moment of truth. Let's see how Nto's printing did on the biz wheel.
Red it is for marketing. No clear marketing plan, no differentials, no different target markets, a whole hodgepodge of branding and no measurements. On the sales side, slightly better. It's orange there. It's a bit of a strategy, needs some work.
The red is purely because you haven't taken the time and trouble to look at the financial information that you have, analyze it to see where it can take your business going forward. Nto, it's extremely refreshing to see someone that has paid attention to administration. You've got a filing system that works. You applied for a tax clearance from the South African Revenue Services and you got it. The reason why I'm only giving you an orange here is that there are certain legal agreements that I think you need to have in place.
Now, Nto, you've seen the results, and I'd like to know if you were expecting anything or did anything take you by surprise?
Well, in terms of my sales, I was a bit surprised. I was expecting a little green there, but it's a learning curve, and step by step, I will grow and mature.
Well, that's why we're here. We're going to find out exactly what's on and what needs to get switched on. Let's start with you, Mike. You're really concerned about the identity of this business and how Ntokozo's position currently. Tell us a little more about that.
Andile, I stepped out of the lift. I wasn't sure if I was at Nto's Photographic, Nto's Printing, Dream Nails, all these signs, all these names. Nto, you need to work on a name. Find one that tells everyone what you do. Once you got the name, it all starts there, easy to go from there. Then there was all this branding, all these signs. Unfortunately, little mistakes creeping in, little errors. All that really needs to be fixed up and really, really quickly. Give the whole business this new professional and fresh look that tells people, this is what I do.
There's been quite a transition in this business. You started out doing what exactly, Ntokozo?
I started off doing digital printing and CVs, small-scale printing and large-scale printing. But I totally agree with what Mike has said.
I mean, right now, her own name is at the very front of this business. And is that such a good idea? Perhaps there's other things she needs to think about in that regard.
She's a small business competing with big, big printing companies. How does she compete? By telling people this is personal. How do you say it's personal? You put your name in it. But it's one of the options Nto must consider.
Thane, you want to come in there?
Nto, the New Companies Act provides that when you change the name of your business, you've got to notify the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission. Usually you would do that by going to your accountant. Andile, when we walked into Nto's shop, I realized, Mfundi, this is a very busy business. But after being there for a while, until we realized that busyness does not really equate to profitability. And I see that you diversified, and the diversification was a little bit inappropriate, if I can put it that way. I almost wanted to call you the Richard Branson of KwaMashu, because not only were you doing printing and branding, you started selling eyelashes and nail products. So can I suggest, let's put those aside, phase them out, and concentrate on your focus business, which is printing and branding. So Nto, there's really 5 areas that create cash flow problems in a small business. It's either lack of sales or too much sales. That can cause a problem. It's also a lack of correct pricing because you're not collecting your money quickly. You could also have a cash flow problem because you're using the money that you receive inefficiently, and a combination of all those factors would create cash flow problems for any small business. And in a mall, it is very expensive to be there. You need to focus on improving your sales to be around 5 to 10 times your monthly rental. Number 2, I need you to identify the products which are bringing you the biggest return, the ones that are contributing the most to your bottom line. You also need to take a robust and detailed pricing method on your product so that you know which products are the ones that you need to focus on. Pricing needs to take into account the 3 C's, Nto. Your own costs, the client's expectations, what he's going to prepare to pay for your product. Thirdly, your competition's pricing. The markets don't need to be priced exactly the same. So the walk-in business can be priced differently to your corporate and your tender pricing. Focus on those areas of your business, and I'm sure you're going to double that turnover easily.
I know differently. you've got a sales problem. You simply need to sell more stuff to more people for more money more often. And the way to do that is to construct small packages that people can buy. For example, Business 1 package, 100 business cards, 100 letterheads. Package 2, 200 business cards, 200 letterheads, and some branding. Same with the school leavers and the job seekers. That's where it's all sitting. But make sure you're charging the right price for the right product.
That is a great idea. I'll definitely take that one.
Okay, so let's talk about store space. And what does Ntokozo need to remember about that, Mike?
All these people standing there, paper in one hand, 2 rand in another hand, chaos. Yeah. It's pretty simple. Take that counter, divide it into 3 sections. Put up a nice big banner above the counter, arrows pointing down, people lining up in the right place, not looking too busy, bit of organization, dividers on the counter. Before you know it, flow, flow, flow.
There is something this business is doing well, though. It's admin, isn't it?
The admin is fantastic. The tax clearance is in place. She's got a wonderful filing system. And remember, administration is the backbone of your business.
She needs to know exactly what's making the money and, better yet, the profit for her business.
It's easy to make big margins on certain items, but is that what's going to build your brand? No. I think you've got to focus on those items that give you the highest margin, but also the highest contribution to your bottom line.
Mike, the last thing most small business owners think they have time to do is plan. What's the barest minimum a small business owner like Ntokozo needs to think about when planning her sales and marketing?
Until it's so easy. It's a 9-step plan. Step number 1, where are you right now? Where's this business? Turnover, sales, everything you can about it. The next one, where do you want to be? And then be important, be specific by when. Then who's going to help you get there? Who are the people who's the target market? Then think to yourself, what do those people think of you right now? And in that, what do you want them to think of you? Then give some consideration to how you're going to change this. What's it going to take? Then what resources do you need? How much money? How much time must you put aside? And then finally, the last thing, how are you going to measure it?
She definitely has one of the key ingredients to being a great entrepreneur, right? Which is enthusiasm, a strong spirit, because she's been taking a lot of hard advice here. What else do we need to think about in terms of being an entrepreneur? What does it take, Thane?
You've got to differentiate, Andile, between entrepreneurial skills and a successful entrepreneur. Entrepreneurial skills include grit, determination, work through 24 hours if you have to. Includes being able to create order out of chaos. Includes being a nice guy, being a reasonable person, being well-liked in the community.
Yeah.
It also includes the fact that you can take a bit of calculated risk. But that is entrepreneurial skills. To become a successful entrepreneur, you need all of those. Plus, you need a bit of capital to enable you to survive for 0 to 6 months without earning 1 cent in sales.
Sounds like a regular walk in the park, Mike.
Small business owners, we want to be paid for what we do.
Yeah.
Preparation, application, inspiration, and a fair dose of desperation.
Thane, here's a question for you. David Wilkinson from Northcliffe, Johannesburg, has a consulting and executive coaching business. He asks a pretty tough question. How do you double a company's turnover in less than 12 months?
David, why are you interested in turnover? Surely you should be looking to focus on doubling your profitability in the next 12 months. Because remember that wonderful saying? Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, cash flow is reality. So, David, rather focus on profitability.
The voice of reason has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. In a moment, we'll meet a woman who's no stranger to television, from soap opera star to leading role as a successful businesswoman. That's next.
Switch to the bank that loves small business. SMS Nedbank to 40320 to switch.